Our heavy favorites to beat the Indiana Pacers in the best-of-7 finals. OKC is a 9.5-point favorite to win Game 1. It's tough not to look at OKC as the more dominant team. They won 68 games in the regular season and are 12-4 in the playoffs. A word of caution, do not sleep on the Pacers. Early in the season, the Pacers were 10-15 and did not look like a playoff contender. Look where they are today. Tip-off time tonight is 5:30 on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again. Holla.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Love you. Love you.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it.
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
You smoking on something loud. Head to the clouds. I ain't been stepping out. Tired of sticking out in the crowd. This world is changing right in front of me. Gray hairs, I'm aging quicker than I thought I did. Straight up, 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 straight up,
Please believe these flows teach egos to freeze and then recede. I'm C4 beneath your Jeep. The second you turn that keyhole, the heat blows. Your weak flows right out the water. The father, boy, I work smarter and harder. My style got a restraining order. Don't bother. I charter unseen territories in order to push it farther than you that ever thought. I caught a lot of murder charges. Turn artists to martyrs. When I rock, that turns to goddess. Fiends turn to kings. Dreams turn to things tangible. My hands are full with grants I pull from stanzas. No, I can't go slow. I'm Sandra Bull. Either proceed with speed or don't breathe. Snow Creed, a color that won't heed to the warning. The planet will shake when I'm performing. Tectonic plates from a place with text on their waist. So stay safe or get left with chest on your faces. Death waits for your last breath. I'ma pass the test. Yes, I'm a master chef. Wanna taste and pay for it. They claim they're real, but they seldom straight for it. The pain I feel on my frame gets transmuted to a dangerous flame. I spit fire at the devil while the angels sing. The flow changed, but remains the same. I'm plain Jane, out of chain on my neck, but shine like baguettes. Ashamed not to flex the rhyme like the rest. My mind's quite depressed if I don't write these. I'm Spike Lee at the audio. Back in my
devil while the angels sing. That flow is fierce. I'm having a hip hop resurrection. I don't want to call it a resurrection. It's like this moment of insanity in our country is making me turn back to the incredible talent of our people, whether it be jazz, whether it be R&B, particularly hip-hop. Man, there's so much talent out there in these streets, in these digital streets. Here's a question for you, Miles. It's coming off the my birthday trip to see Kendrick and SZA in Vegas, your hometown. Do you think J. Cole looks really smart right now for stepping back and getting out of that? I mean, because Kendrick Lamar obviously elevated himself, his brand, the West Coast and all that, right, with his battle with Drake. But then where do you go from there, you know?
A Kendrick perspective?
Just in general, like J. Cole stepped out and some people called him a coward and some people were puzzled. And but now, in retrospect, with the ashes of the scorched earth between Drake and Kendrick still smoldering in this industry and in this artistic landscape, does J. Cole seem like he made the smarter decision?
I think he made probably the best decision for him. I think, you know what I mean. He like you said, he dodged the war and whatever would have ensued after that. He's dodged the burn marks. And I always said from Jump Street, like, quitting while you ahead isn't the same as quitting.
Right, exactly. It's like you're gambling and you leave the table while you still have your winnings.
Right, exactly. Or say, you know what, I ain't even going. I stepped in, I stepped out. My bad. This ain't even my room. I came, I saw, I had to dip out. And I respect that. I wouldn't have done that. But I 100%.
Well, you started out as a battle rapper as a little kid.
Yeah.
So you, is that why you wouldn't walk away from a battle?
No, it's not that. It's just it's the sport of hip hop and music that I would have been. You know, I think I'm probably a little more attached to that side than J. Cole is. But also I don't have the things to lose J. Cole would have had to lose, and you know, if things would have went wrong. I don't know what a lawsuit would have done for J. Cole's contract in his career. I don't know what the radios would still be playing him, and if the stands and fans would be supporting the J. Cole beat down like that. I don't think he would have taken a loss to either one of them, is my point. I think he was strong enough to overcome them all, but I get it 100% for sure.
Yeah. Well, to me, and you know, I don't claim to be an expert. I never do. An aficionado, a connoisseur, but not an expert. But I think he looks really smart because it's like he said, I'm not going to get in this battle. I'm not getting I'm not going to get in the crossfire with these labels, with these fans. But then to come out with that and just be spitting fire.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I think that if we're
it's like
talking
I'm
about
on my art,
talking about from the pen, from the actual time the ball hits the court. All right, here's your pen. What you gonna do with it? Word for word, it's not too many people, period, that can touch J. Cole. I really think word for word, J. Cole's probably the best rapper in the world right now.
Yeah.
But you know, different stories for different folks.
Word for word, is that like pound for pound for MC?
It's like pound for pound. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is hard to ever determine who is the big one or the big three or the just me or whatever. But to me, he looks smart because he decided to stand on his art and not get involved in the corporate wars or the MC wars. But also, I'm sorry, that's on code and on cue and in the brand of J. Cole to be that background type of individual when it comes to things like this. So I'm not mad at that. To be true to himself. And also in the sense of not getting, caught up in battling with another black man, right? In a blood sport. That said, I was the one, and I know KBLA delegation has heard me arguing with Davey D saying that's just hip hop. We've always had battles. We've always had diss tracks and these kind of wars. And, I mean, even though I was back in the day, I was arguing that Tupac may have gone too far with Hit 'Em Up.
Right, had sex with your wife.
And not in those words.
Not in those words.
And clearly Pac heard that and put it on his song. But now when we look back at the things they were saying then, it doesn't even seem as bad as where we are now.
And for what it's worth, too, I think we'd have a different story if somebody actually came at J. Cole, like directly and disrespected J. Cole. And it wasn't that. Kendrick Lamar never said nothing about J. Cole specifically to that point. So
he just said there's no big three.
Hey, I'm the big dog. I don't care what none of y'all talking about. No fans, no labels, no tour dates, no numbers, no blog site, no list, none of that. Like, nah, I'm Kendrick. Big me over here. So I get it.
Yeah. And that's his job. And I know I've been around this artistry long enough to know that that's part of it and that's part of the fun, right? The battles. Some folks said, well, Kendrick crossed the line because he accused him of a crime, pedophilia and stuff. And how long do you go on with that? But I was thinking about J. Cole because I feel like, it's a different era now. When we started out, MCs were battling MC to MC, and even in Pac's era, that there was more. It started becoming more label to label, not just MC to MC, but a corporate battle, not just a battle between two artists, right? So I think that does change things. Anyway, I love that song, that J. Cole song, and I think the question of who's the best, the GOAT or the GOAT of the moment, will never be resolved.
Okay, all right.
Will never, because that's, everyone has their opinion.
Is that even like something we want to do, honestly?
No. Resolve it?
I mean, get those type of consensus like points of views and, have like an actual tier and hierarchy and standards on what we judge off of. I was talking with some other people. They were talking about on a much more smaller scale, a more local scale between like LA, Vegas, West Coast regional cities, and they started comparing people and different factors come into it. Who's really like outside like that? You know what I'm saying? Who's actually doing shows? Who's who's getting the brand endorsements, who's on these TV shows, who's
as a means of measuring success.
Exactly. Instead of I don't know if it's
but you were talking about word for word. And I was still surprised to hear you say that you thought J. Cole was probably the best in the world, because I know you're a huge supporter of Kendrick Lamar. You love his music. And there's a couple of other MCs that I've noticed you seem to listen to a lot more. So I was surprised to hear you say that. Dion is in my DM saying Cole actually could have hung in that battle, but he's an intelligent rapper and it wasn't worth it. Clearly he's intelligent. Clearly I think, to be honest with you, I think all three of those men are very intelligent.
Sure.
Kendrick clearly is. You just read his work. And Drake is like a whole empire.
Right. But I think, though, also, when you're, and this goes for Kendrick, I've said this about, and maybe I'll get some pushback for it, but I've been publicly saying this about Kendrick for years. When the lyrics aren't your strongest suit, you need these other things to, build up that armor, that persona. If it's 1 to 100, not everybody has 99 lyricism, 99 bars, 99 wordplay. Kendrick has a lot of things that he's very higher on, but lyrically, word for word, there are people like, J. Cole that will edge him, I feel like. But I think that it's not a bad thing that Kendrick has a pure activism gene, you know what I'm saying, that comes through his music a lot more than J. Cole. It's not a surprise that Drake has the ladies and the hooks and he can sing, and he has the Jewish card and he has the major labels behind him. All that builds up to what Drake is, when I feel like Cole can just put on a t-shirt, some basketball shorts, some Nikes, not brush his hair and go hit the stage and rock the crowd,
Yeah, well, that's true. We all have our strengths and weaknesses. We all have our superpowers. And it's just an interesting moment. I think to me, it was a show of wisdom. Daniel Samir says, good point, Miles. J. Cole changed his mind. We got to allow artists to change their minds, man. I agree. Kevin Haynes says, take money. And B. Bell says, it's hip hop. You can say what you want. Just watch what you say. Yeah, you can say what you want, but you got to be able to back it up.
Right, or duck, or be able to
flee.
See the recoil coming soon and say, all right, I'm out the way, my bad.
And Kavit says, had the same thought about Cole staying out of it. Was he waiting to hear his name called again? There's old goats and young goats. Bell says, yeah, of course, every generation has its goats. And Daniel Samir Siren says, I think Cole just realized that K-Dot wanted smoke with Drake. Kendrick was never aiming at Cole. Yeah, I just, listening to his latest, it just made me think, I see it differently now than I did at the beginning of this run. E.C. Courtney says, I've never heard of a dumb gangster. I believe I have. We might have one in the White House right now. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, taking your phone calls right now. On this and other matters, we have other matters. I just came from an amazing concert, so my head is in the hip hop, and that's a good thing, man. KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
LA's newest soul food restaurant is getting spectacular reviews.
Great place with amazing food. The Sunday champagne brunch is fabulous. I saw the place on IG. We tried it for lunch. We were blown away by the food and the service. The restaurant has an inviting atmosphere and a dynamic vibe.
Over the years, Lionel has catered most major black events in Los Angeles, including all of our KBLA Talk 1580 gatherings. But now he has his own spot, Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine, and you need to check it out at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles. Oxtails, baked or fried chicken, meatloaf, turkey chops, pork chops, catfish, short ribs, and all the fixins. Collard greens, mac and cheese, yams, red beans, black-eyed peas, and more. And of course, hot water cornbread, satisfying drinks, and delicious desserts. Lionel's is a great place for brunch, lunch, or dinner. If it's good enough for us, it's good enough for you, because we've got your black. So, head on over to Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles and tell Lionel you heard about it on KBLA Talk 1580.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Febreze.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
My intuition is telling me there'll be better days. Yeah. My intuition is telling me there'll be better days. I like this tone. Yeah. My intuition is telling me there'll be better days. I sit in silence and find whenever I meditate, my fears alleviate, my tears evaporate, my faith don't deviate, ideas don't have a date. But see, I'm growing and getting stronger with every breath, bringing me closer to heaven's doors with every step. As we speak, I'm at peace, no longer scared to die. Most don't believe in God, and so they terrified. It's either that or they be fearing they gon' go to hell. Asking the Father for forgiveness got them overwhelmed. As if he's spiteful, like them white folks that control the jail. See, I believe if God is really never judge a man, because he knows us all and therefore he would understand the ignorance to make a take his brother life, the bitterness and pain that got him beating on his wife. Like, I know you desperate for a change, let the pen glide, but the only real change come from inside. But the only real change come from inside. But the only real change come from the cemeteries on chains. I see men cry, but the only real change come from inside. But the only real change come from inside. But the only real change come from
KBLA Talk 1580. A little more J. Cole for your soul. I just think there's so much talent. Black people, Americans, black people worldwide, we're just so amazing. And I'm really into that right now, because for me that's the counteracting of the madness in Washington. Remembering our brilliance, remembering our genius, remembering our flows, and using that music and that art, the dance, the theater. I'm reading, in fact, I was thinking I've been wanting to launch the Baraka Book Club in honor of my father. Maybe we'll launch it now. Dr. Abdullah gave me The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. I started reading that. One of my things I did for my B-Day was take some time to read. Man, it's set in 2024, and it is, woo! So if you guys want to be part of the unofficial Baraka Book Club, pick up The Parable of the Sower. We'll talk about it in a couple months, because that ain't a book you're going to read overnight. But it's the brilliance, it's the insight, it's our ability to pivot, it's our ability to create and make workarounds that continues to inspire me. So whether it's J. Cole or Octavia Butler, I think this is the time to lean on our artists. Meanwhile, Kendrick Lamar, he's reaping the benefits of that battle and his great run. I mean, he's had a great run of music, selling out stadiums, that was a long show. It was 3 hours of SZA and Kendrick going back and forth, and they carried it. Yeah, there was a lot of razzle dazzle. I'm always going to have special respect for someone who can stand 10 toes down and just hold a mic, like you said, throw on their jeans. I try to be that girl on the radio. You know what I mean? I love having guests and special effects and clips and, gadgets and songs and things, but I pride myself in being able to stand 10 toes down. Okay, here's me, here's the microphone, and somehow we're broadcasting, whether we're in Africa, Inglewood, or Leimert Park. I would love to be like the J. Cole of the radio in that sense. Word for word, I got you.
And people don't understand, too, like the stamina that goes into that, literally the stamina that goes into keeping your voice strong for 3 hours straight. And walking around and not missing a word and entertaining. And, you know what I mean?
Well, you know it because you do it.
But not even at this level. Not on no 3 or 4 nights a week type stuff.
Right, at a stadium.
This is work.
Yeah. It's real work. Okay, let's go to Queen calling us from LA. Thank you for your patience, Queen.
Hi, Dominique DiPrima.
greetings to you guys on the KBLA listening team. But I am listening. I am interested in using your radio station, Ms. DiPrima. If you could set it up. I have a son, and I know there's many single parents out there when their sons get in trouble and they go behind the bars. Well, I'm in need right now of assistance of black men that's possibly been behind the bars, are successful currently, willing to navigate the young youth right now, because I currently have a son behind the wall, and it's very frustrating not knowing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's got to be very, very hard.
It's very frustrating calling up there, and just not really knowing what's going on, knowing that he's being mistreated because he doesn't, have the backing of, a lawyer or people that could back him like men that has already been there, to navigate. I just found out that he's been moved out of general population, and that he has a court date. It's kind of like, okay, well, I didn't find that out. I don't know what's going on. And it's very frustrating because when you lack that stability of black, positive, strong, successful men that has been there, and it's really, I don't want to have to put my own family down, but we don't have that.
Yeah. Do you know where he? Oh, well, obviously you know where he is. What facility he's in?
I'm sorry?
What prison is he in, or jail?
He's in Victorville.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that you're going through this. Two things I would suggest. One is getting in contact with an organization like Second Call that can provide support as far as that kind of male positive role modeling and mentorship that you're talking about. And then the other thing is looking at what resources are available through something like the Justice Care and Opportunities Department. Do you know how long he's meant to be in there?
You know what? Is there a way that you could set it up one day to where you can actually, I actually met with Rizza Islam one day, one moment. I'm looking to meet back with men like him, Rizza Islam, Nakeem Keys, people like that.
Okay, hold that thought. We've got a hard stop here for news, traffic, and sports, but we'll continue to explore what you're asking and how you hope it will help your son when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. A Black California track star has lost her state title over a fiery celebration. Clara Adams of North Salinas High was disqualified after spraying her spikes with a fire extinguisher post-race, paying homage to Black Olympic medalist Maurice Green.
When the officials told me that I would be disqualified, I was just set into shock. I just couldn't believe it.
The family is protesting the decision. Louisiana lawmakers have rejected a bill that wouldn't allow minors under 17 who were raped to access abortion. Black Democratic Representative Delisha Boyd, who was born after her mother was raped, shared emotional testimony. Advocates say the current law fails teen survivors. And the National Urban League is bringing its 2025 conference to Cleveland, Ohio this July. The event will feature top speakers, job fairs, and sessions on civil rights, economic empowerment, and health equity. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Is this the time? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A tough night for both of LA's baseball teams. The Dodgers lost at home to the New York Mets 6-1. If you want to skip work today, the Dodgers wrap up their 7-game homestand with a day game. They play the Mets again, first pitch at 1:10. The Angels lost at Boston 11-9. The Angels are back on Friday night against Seattle to start a 6-game homestand. The NBA Finals jump off tonight. The Oklahoma City Thunder are heavy favorites to beat the Indiana Pacers in the best-of-7 finals. OKC is a 9.5-point favorite to win Game 1. It's tough not to look at OKC as the more dominant team. They won 68 games in the regular season and are 12-4 in the playoffs. A word of caution, do not sleep on the Pacers. Early in the season, the Pacers were 10-15 and did not look like a playoff contender. Look where they are today. Tip-off time tonight is 5:30 on ABC. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least like to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God!
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on! On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is Resilience in the Face of Chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DiPrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Love you. Love you.
Thanks for starting your morning off with a voice that speaks truth to power and the powerless, getting to the heart of what matters most in our community. This is where authentic conversation meets real action. From breaking news and politics to culture and community solutions, this is where you hear perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. This is where we come together, get informed, and make change happen. You're inside First Things First with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning, sunshine. You make my day.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
feel like a chip on my shoulders. I feel like I'm losing my focus. I feel like I'm losing my patience. I feel like my thoughts in the basement. I feel like you're miseducated. Feel like I don't wanna be bothered. I feel like you may be the problem. I feel like it ain't no tomorrow. F the world. The world is ended. I'm done pretending. If you get offended. I feel like friends been overrated. I feel like the family been faking. I feel like the feelings are changing. Feel like my daughter compromised and jaded. Feel like you wanna scrutinize how I made it. Feel like I ain't feeling you all. Feel like removing myself, no feelings involved. I feel for you. I've been in the field for you. It's real for you, right? I feel like ain't nobody praying for me. Ain't nobody praying for me. Ain't nobody praying for me. Ain't nobody praying. I feel it's been out of pocket. I feel it's tapping their pockets. I feel like debating on who the greatest can stop it. I am legend. I feel like all of y'all is peasants. I feel like all of y'all is desperate. I feel like all it takes is a second to feel like Mike Jordan whenever holding a real mic. I ain't feeling your presence. Feel like I'ma learn you a lesson. Feel like only me and the music though. I feel like your feeling ain't mutual. I feel like the enemy you should know. Feel like the feeling of no hope. The feeling of bad. A quarter ounce manipulated from soap. The feeling of false freedom. A false freedom. The poison to fill them up in the prison. I feel like it's just me, look. I feel like I can't breathe, look. I feel like I can't sleep, look. I feel heartless often, off this feeling of falling apart with darkest hours lost in.
KBLA Talk 1580. Yep, it was a hell of a show. It was long, and I'm not going to lie. The Mr. Morale show was hard to top. Hard to top. But what a what a show. What a weekend. What a conversation. 800-920-1580. If you've got a thing to say, this is a place to say it, the mic to say it. Let's go to Fred, calling us from L.A. Don't know which Fred, but I have a sneaking suspicion I do. Good morning, Fred.
Hello, Dominique. I called about Randy, your truck driver, and your comment that you made that you're willing to pay more for the Green Planet than regulations. But that last caller that called about her son, I guess it was in jail.
Yeah, I think she hung up. I was hoping to talk to her more. But, yeah, maybe she'll call us back.
Call me OG. I go to the Slauson picnic every year. It's sad that our young people, they just won't listen. The young men and the young women, they just won't listen. But anyway, getting on to what you said, you'd rather pay the higher price for the better option. In 1976, I sold my rig and went to work for the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power as a heavy-duty truck driver. And in 2007, I retired as a trucking equipment dispatcher A. Well, along the way, and I've heard you say you love your job. I've had 5 of them.
Mm-hmm. I actually have several now, but when I say that, I'm talking about radio.
I understand that. You love your job. I loved mine. Okay. By default, in 1998, I got assigned to Water and Power's heavy truck desk, downtown truck desk, in charge of all heavy trucks south of Mulholland Drive. So I'm giving you impeccable credentials why I'm saying this. Okay, there's 4 things wrong with these electric vehicles, and they really tried to push them, and it is my job, or I'm retired now, to even buy the trucks for Water and Power. Hazard, when these buses. Okay, when I first took over the desk, something happened. We have buses. We would lease them from a company, and they would have these lithium-ion batteries, but they would catch on fire and break down. And it's my job to assign drivers to bring them back to the boneyard or back to where they have to be.
So give me the essence of what you're saying here, Fred.
Okay.
You started to say there were 4 things wrong with electric vehicles, so maybe finish.
Number 1, they catch on fire. That's a hazardous waste haul. Number 2, where are you going to dispose of all these lithium-ion batteries? You're creating a new hazardous waste dump somewhere in the world that they're not telling you about. These trucks, they don't have a regular diesel truck going downhill, and you can think about the Grapevine Grade, which is 12 miles long. Mm-hmm. You don't need brakes, but you're going to put a lot of wear and tear on brakes on a vehicle that heavy, on an electric vehicle. And then there's no road taxes on an electrical vehicle. And then when you figure out the cost of a battery, over the life of 8 years at $10,000, you can buy 2,500 gallons of gasoline, and that'll take you 85,000 miles in a car.
Okay, so what's your bottom line? What I heard is they catch on fire. There's a battery disposal issue. Something about the brakes.
And no road taxes.
And no road taxes.
And the cost.
Well, that's just a policy that can change in a heartbeat. So what are you saying about that? Since there's these 4 things wrong, and we can list dozens of things wrong with gasoline cars, but that's not what we're talking about. What are you saying? What's your bottom line? What are you proposing? Are you saying there's 4 things wrong, so we should scrap them? I think the batteries is a real concern. We saw that with the Eaton fire in Pasadena, Altadena, and also the batteries require, minerals, which at this point are conflict minerals. But there's still, when you look at the balance of cost-benefit balance, it's still better for the human race, the human organism, to deal with the problems of batteries inside of electric cars than unbreathable air. Number 1. Number 2, the catching on fire is not all electric vehicles. From what I've read, it's mostly Teslas.
No, I wasn't hauling Tesla buses. No, Tesla probably.
The Tesla, so you're saying the electric buses were catching on fire. As far as I know, for consumer cars, the electric cars that have a problem with catching on fire are Teslas.
Catch on fire, even the trucks. They just don't tell you that much. Dominique, the bottom line is it's going to cost 2 or 3 times as much, and then you got to dispose of the batteries. And I think
what does it cost? Okay, well, I mean, it's interesting your insights, having worked in the business. But I what's the cost of having unbreathable air? Everybody dies. Everybody dies, but you have to stop before you get there, because when you get there, it's too late, Fred. You don't say, "Oh wait, the air's unbreathable. Let's go back."
I don't think we're going to get to unbreathable air with gasoline and diesel.
Are you a climate denier, sir? Because the scientists do. Oh, you're a climate denier. So, okay, got it. Well, thank you for being honest. I appreciate your honesty, Fred. Oh, Lord. I do love my job, though. 800-920-1580 goes to, clicks over on YouTube to see what the chat is, because they're always saying, they're always saying something. Something. They're talking to you today, Miles. All right, let's go to Mike calling us from Leimert Park. In other words, right around the corner. The call is coming from inside the building. Hi, Mike.
Hello, can you hear me?
I do, loud and clear. Welcome.
Great. Look, I was responding to the sister that said her son was in prison or in jail.
Yes.
And
Queen was her name. Yeah, in Victorville.
Okay, Queen. Well, let me say this to Sister Queen. Wherever he is, as far as, so that he's protected, you understand me? All he has to do is go to the chapel and ask, where's the Umat? Where's the masjid? Is there Islamic, teacher there? Is there imam there?
Inside of the prison you're talking about.
Yes, ma'am. And connect with the Muslims. They will protect him. They will guide him and direct him. You know what I'm saying? So the next time she gets in contact with him, tell him to seek out those that foster his growth rather than deal with anybody or anything that's going to drag him into any negative bad influence. That's quoted Dr. Naim Akbar. Change the images of psychological slavery. Another way.
Okay, before you move on to the next way, let me ask you a question about the first way. You think that's effective for him even if he's not a Muslim?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. He's a Muslim. He just hasn't taken his shahada. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I understand what you're saying. She may not see it that way as his mom. He may not see it that way either. But it's a fair point.
He could go to the church. He can go to the chapel and seek out the Christian brothers that's there.
Yeah.
I mean, if he gets involved with something that's positive, something that's, you know, like it's a family thing. It's a family structure, so to speak. Because all them brothers in there, they praying together. You know what I'm saying? As long as he ain't with the gang activity, you know what I'm saying? He got serenity right then and there, you know?
Okay.
So that she don't have to be worried about him like that. Because he's in prison. They're not going to call her and let her, you know, he went to pill call today, or, you know, if it's not devastating. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. I mean, in California, Assemblymember Isaac Bryan's got a bill moving that's meant to force the jails and prisons to inform families when someone is either moved to another facility, terribly injured or killed. But that hasn't passed yet. That's Waukesha's law. That hasn't been signed into law yet. And so, but even that wouldn't have them telling you about every little movement or small change that happens inside the prison. And so what you're saying is those connections will, and by the way, there's a couple of Black Lives Matter prison chapters. I don't think there's one in Victorville that you can also connect with. But what you're saying is that those are points of contact inside the system that can provide some safe haven and mentoring.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, surely. Now, if it's a sex crime or some of that nature, they got to move him somewhere where he don't want to be, because they do that on purpose. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very important that, you know, check up on him if you can. You understand me? If that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Praise be to God it's not. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, that's how they say, well, they're going to get him when he gets to the pen, you know, stuff of that nature.
Yep,
so
yep.
I don't know exactly what he's in there for. I don't even care. But if you want to seek some assistance and, you know, get him some advice and, you know, because he ain't never been there before. She said he's behind the wall or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he's still going to court, he can't be behind no wall. You understand me? He's definitely, you understand me, you know, detained. But, you know, behind the wall is state penitentiary, folks, or something.
I gotcha. Well, Mike, I appreciate the instant feedback for Queen. She didn't stay on. We were going to keep talking, but hopefully she's still listening. And hopefully she also will consider my suggestion of second call, you know, because they mentor people inside and outside, and someplace to come when he comes out. And also the Justice Care and Opportunities Department of LA County, which can provide all kinds of support for people who are justice impacted, including rides to court reminders, helping them find a place to stay, or transitional program and job training and things like that when they come out. So hopefully Queen is receiving from the village, literally the Lamert Park Village right here. Mike, thank you. Appreciate you.
And tell Tavis I'll be getting at him soon. I got his number. I'm going to call him.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure he heard you right now. I'm Dominique DiPrima. It's not too late to call me like Mike did at 800-920-1580. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Are you ready to play? Then jump into the LA 84 Foundation's Free Playday Block Party, a community celebration for all ages, including live music, dancing, LA's pro sports teams, great local food trucks, plus special giveaways for you to take home. Enjoy an exciting, fun-filled day for the entire family. Join us Saturday, June 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 2141 West Adams Boulevard. To register, go to la84.org. We'll see you Saturday, June 28th at LA 84 Foundation's Free Playday Block Party. Every mother deserves a healthy and joyous pregnancy and birth, and every baby deserves to thrive. That's why the Los Angeles County Abundant Birth Project is here. The Abundant Birth Project is a guaranteed income program that provides cash during pregnancy to pregnant individuals at the highest risk of preterm and low birth rate babies. Although program enrollment has closed, our commitment to Black joy and thriving continues. Through tailored services that foster mental well-being and community-based resources, we provide care and support during pregnancy and after the baby is born to help build brighter futures for our families. Join us in celebrating abundant births in LA County. For more information, please visit abundantbirthproject.org. abundantbirthproject.org.
The State of the People Power Tour is not a moment, it's a movement. 11 cities, one mission. To organize with care, build with strategy, and remind ourselves that we have never needed saving. This Friday and Saturday, the State of the People Power Tour arrives in LA for its final stop. The State of the People Power Tour is not just a series of stops. It's a signal, a shift, a belief that power lies in the hands of everyday people. A belief that if we show up for each other, our communities will be stronger. Join us this Friday, June 6th in Los Angeles at the Seed School and on Saturday, June 7th at Pasadena City College. We need you in the room to link arms with neighbors and leaders from across the country to build something that will last, because we believe if we move together, we will rise together. For more information and to register, go to stateoftheppl.com and join us as we build a new nation where every voice matters.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it! Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now. No more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. That's the number to call. We've been all around the world and all around the mic on this morning, and we had some folks calling off the air as well, wanting to help Queen. So hopefully she'll tap back in the story of her son, who's now inside of the Victorville prison. I don't know a lot about that facility, but I do know a number from the Anti-Recidivism Coalition to Second Call to A New Way of Life to Justice, Care, and Opportunities Department, that we actually do have a network in California of resources. Now, of course, everything is in flux and we don't know what the future will bring, but as of right now, those resources are still standing, and it would be great to connect you. So if you want to call back, and as I said, I've had at least a couple people have called in offering help of different kinds. Now, when you talk about setting up, and Queen jumped off, a conversation with a 19 Keys or a Riza Islam or a Tavis Smiley or any kind of celebrity or an influencer, that could be an inspiring kind of conversation for your child. But I would think that what you need are organizations with people that can be there day in, day out. Celebs can offer inspiration, influencers can do what they do, which is influence, and sometimes make referrals to organizations or networks of support that can be of assistance. But when it comes to day in, day out, most celebs just don't have the time or the bandwidth to do that. So I always hesitate to lean on a strategy that that centers celebs. That said, there's always conferences and different kinds of convenings where your son, once he's out, can meet and build with leaders in business and in entertainment, and that can be a positive force in his life. I'm hoping and praying that you will take advantage of all of these opportunities while we still have them, and that you will reach back to us, Queen, because I can connect you with some of those resources. So I don't know if you've seen these. I know it's almost time to pass the mic, but I'm going to leave you with a nice palate refresher this morning. I don't know if you've seen these quarters. There's one for Ida B. Wells. There's Dr. Pauli Murray one, Maya Angelou, Bessie Coleman. They're U.S. quarters, coins. And on the back, they honor black women. Again, get them while we can, because we're being erased right and left. But it's all part of this thing called the American Women Quarters Program that's meant to celebrate accomplishments made by women to the history of our country, the development of our country. And this is something that the U.S. Mint did from 2022 to 2025. There's 5 more of them coming out in 2025. I'm sure that this administration will label this DEI at some point and make it stop. But one of each year is a black woman. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because these quarters are already in circulation, but you could also buy them directly from the U.S. Mint. And if you want to get a hold of them, you best do it before they are made illegal. And a little backstory, which I didn't realize, is that the reason these black women are honored is because of Barbara Lee. She is the one who passed a law called the Circulating Collectible Coin Redesign Act of 2020 that allowed these new American women quarters to be in circulation and the honoring of these black women. Of course, she's got her work cut out for her now in Oakland as the mayor of a troubled city, just like we have a black woman leading this troubled city. Hopefully we won't allow her to be another victim of the attacks on black mayors and get thrown under the bus. But when we see a good thing happening, and I think that is a good thing, these quarters, even if they outlaw them, will never be taken completely out of circulation. And they are just another little thing that makes it harder to erase our history. So, elections have consequences, and folks are doing good things, small and big, cheap and expensive, every single day. So let's be among those and recommit ourselves to being fearless in this time. Recommit ourselves to being fearless. Hopefully you visited the website already and signed up for all of our, or at least one of our 4 events celebrating 4 years. That's KBLA1580.com. Do it before we run out of seats. I gotta go. It's time to pass the mic to Tavis Smiley. He's got a great lineup for you once again. Man, he gets a lot into a short show, or a lot into a long show. Like my mother, the great San Francisco poet laureate Diane DiPrima, used to say, history is now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow for our Freedman Friday broadcast. Be well. One love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Bikes with a fire extinguisher post-race, paying homage to Black Olympic medalist Maurice Green.
When the officials told me